hello from my area code to yours. I'm gonna get a piece of gum to get started. I'd like to share something special with you guys. A long time ago, when I was still in the single digits in terms of my age, my mother taught me how to crochet, and I greatly appreciate it. I've been doing it for a long time, over 20 years easily. I've been able to make a lot of stuff: scarves, blankets, dog sweaters, stuffed animals, all sorts of stuff. So I really appreciate the skill that she gave to me, and I thought I could maybe teach you guys. So this isn't all of my tools, but this is the case that I keep on hand because these are the hooks that I use the most often. I've had this case for a long time. It's really soft. It says B-O-Y-E, boy. That is a brand of crochet hooks. And inside I have my trusty Fiskars. They probably need to be sharpened. I have 3 tapestry needles so that I can weave in my ends. I have extra cat hair in here to keep all my needles warm, of course. These are my smaller hooks. It goes all the way down to this one's a 1.8 millimeter by the brand Boy. And then it just goes up from there. And then on this side, these are the ones that I use typically. I haven't used these two in a while, but generally within these 4 I use the most often. And so they go up by number and letter. This one is an F, 3.75 millimeter. And in between these two, I'm missing a J. And I probably have it somewhere, I just can't find it. And then they get much bigger than even this. This is pretty big, honestly. This is an M13. It's a 9 millimeter. And this is by Susan Bates. I think I got this one at Joann's Fabric. Maybe. So those are my needles, or hooks. They're hooks. When you knit, they're called needles. So I also have some yarn here. It's red. It's actually really soft. I think it might be Karen brand yarn. So there's two ends to a skein of yarn. This is kind of tangled up here. There's two ends, and one end the yarn comes out of the skein just like in a continuous string, and the other end of the yarn you unravel the skein. And I don't like unraveling it, but it would appear as though that's how this one's going to come apart. Otherwise I'm going to have to fish around in this end and see if I can find it. So we'll just stick with unraveling it for now. And I feel like when I was little and my mom was teaching me how to do this, red yarn was the very first yarn that I used to learn with. And I remember that my very first hook was hot pink and it was plastic. So I'm going to set this off to the side, but I'm going to get to the end of my string here, and I'm right-handed, so unfortunately I don't know how to show you how to do it from a left-hand perspective. So just to show you guys how to do this, I'm going to use my gold H hook. And my crochet needle goes in my right hand, the yarn in my left. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put the yarn over the top of the hook, cross the yarn over. I'm going to put this in my hands. This is how you keep your tension and how you keep the yarn coming to you, if that makes sense. And I'm going to pinch the yarn in between my thumb and my middle finger. I'm going to put the hook underneath the yarn, grab it with the head of the hook, and pull it through the loop. And that's how I start my projects. That's not how everybody does it, that's just how I do it. There's different ways to do all sorts of things with crochet. Everybody's got their own way to do it. Like even doing this is how I do it. Not everybody does it like this with their fingers. Some people just hold the yarn like this. I don't know how they manage to do that. I need to do this in order to keep consistent pressure on the string, or tension I should say. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to do the basic crochet stitch that you have to know. You can't get away without knowing this. It's the fundamental stitch of crochet, and you start most projects, unless you're doing amigurumi, with a single crochet chain. And how we're going to do that is I'm going to take the hook, I'm going to go under the yarn, I'm going to grab the yarn with the head of the hook, and I'm going to pull it through that loop. It's that simple. Under, grab it, through the loop. Under, grab it, through the loop. And that's the first thing you have to learn when you crochet. It's very simple. Most of the difficult part of this is keeping the proper tension. If you don't and it's all wonky, then your loops are going to be all wonky, and some are going to be big, some are going to be small, and you don't want that. You want them to be the same size so that you can have consistency in your project. So I'm going to go ahead and chain another 7 loops, and we'll have a 10 stitch chain. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's a 10 loop chain. I'm going to close this so that you guys can maybe see this better. Maybe over the top of this you can see it real good. Okay, so maybe I want to make a scarf Well, in order to make a scarf, you have to go back and forth to build up your project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crochet one more loop, because that one doesn't count. That one doesn't count, it's a turning chain. So I'm going to skip that loop that I just made, and I'm going to go into this one. And I'm going to do the same thing, except this time I have 2 loops on my hook. So I just pulled this one up, I'm going to grab another loop, I'm going to pull it through both loops. And I'm going to keep doing that all the way across. So I'm going to go in, grab some yarn, pull the yarn through again. And it's real simple. Grab it, pull it through. And I'm just going to keep, I'm just going to keep doing that all the way across until I have another 10. So right now I have 4, and there should be 6 more stitches to go into. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. This yarn doesn't want to cooperate. Okay, and so in the beginning of your project, you're going to notice that it's going to want to curl up. It's because you don't have enough weight on the yarn yet. And all you have to do is like stretch it out a little bit and tug on it, and it'll kind of straighten out. And then as time goes on, it'll straighten out. That's another reason why you want to make sure that your tension is constantly the same. You don't want the loops being different sizes, because that will affect your work and it's not going to look good. So you just keep building, and you can change colors. That's going to be a different video if I continue to do this. It's a little bit more difficult. Not to me, but to a beginner it is. And so I would take a loop, and just like before, we made that loop, and you're going to ignore that. That's just a turning chain. So you turn your work around, and now it's a little bit different. Before we were only going through one chain, which you can continue to do, but that gives your project a different texture. If you continue to go just through the front loop, you're going to have a ribbed fabric when you're done. So for me, I prefer to go through both the front and the back loop. I don't know if you can see that, but there's the front and there's the back. It's like a V shape, front, back. So I'm going to go through both of those, and that will make my project flat. See, I'm going through both. And once I get all the way across this row, I'll show you what I mean. I can tear it out, and then I'll do it the other way, and you'll see the difference. Oh boy. Sometimes with softer yarn, it's slippery, and yarn is made up of a bunch of, let me show you with this end, a bunch of smaller strings. So this has 4 strands. Well, what happens is it's so slippery, sometimes you put the hook through the yarn real easy, and then you pull those loops apart. Like I've done here, it's not going back the way it was. It doesn't matter anyway. That's the tail end. If I wanted to continue this project, that's what those tapestry needles are for, is for weaving in the ends. I would just weave this in and out and hide it, and you wouldn't see it anymore. I really enjoy crocheting. I usually start towards the end of fall, and I do it all the way up until spring. I can't handle doing it in the summer. It's too hot. It's too hot for me to sit there with a blanket of yarn on my lap. I'm sure you understand. what I'm saying. So I'm at the end, and now it's still wanting to curl a little bit. You can see this is the back of the project actually, and there is a front and a back. This is the front, and I can tell, I've just been doing this long enough, I can tell this is the front. So this is flat, and probably when I go to show you the ridged version, I'm gonna have to do it for a few rows so that you can actually see the pattern develop. So I'll rip this out and show you real quick. Okay, so now I'm only gonna do it in the front stitch, and I'm not gonna go in the back. It's real fun. You know, if you're going to start doing this, I would strongly suggest doing something small, like a scarf or a pot holder or a dish scrubber maybe, just to get your feet wet, so to speak. So actually, you can kind of already see it. I can anyway. I'll do one more row. I like how crocheting helps pass the time. It's time consuming. You know, if you need to burn some time, crocheting's a good way to do it. And you're being productive, you're making something, maybe for a friend or a family member, a gift. It's really rewarding when you finish your project. Oh boy, it's really wanting to curl. Okay, you know what? This is not a good yarn to show you because it's so soft. Either way, basically what ends up happening, and you can't really see it from the side, but the best way I can explain it is there are peaks and valleys. So there'll be a high spot and it'll dip down, high, dip down, high, dip down. And you'll be able to see it. It's like the potato chips with ridges. It's almost just like that. So those are, you know, just a couple different ways you can use the single stitch, and once you master this, you can move on and do other things such as half double crochet, double crochet, and it only gets better from there. You can do all sorts of patterns. So I hope you guys learned something today. I hope you liked the video. I hope it was relaxing for you. I can certainly do more crochet tutorials. I'd be glad to do so. But feel free to leave a like and a comment below. Rest your head on the subscribe button and slap the notification bell like your alarm clock. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.